Ooh. Oh, spooky.
Spooky. All right, so you ready to do this spook? This video. Are you ready?
We're not doing this bit.
Come on, that's such a good bit.
That's the dumbest bit we have ever come up with.
Is the camera spooking? I mean, recording. What's up, spooks?
You definitely can't say that. I just told you that's a slur.
I didn't know that was a slur.
Apparently, I didn't know that either. What's going on, guys? You may realize it looks a little different in here today, and that is because we are in a festive mood. It is officially the week of Halloween.
This is the week that we are uploading every day.
Single day.
5 uploads, all leading up to Emmanuel's short film, Mr. Pumpy.
In the spirit of Halloween, we decided to follow a little bit of a trend that I happened to come across on Twitter a few weeks ago. Might be a little outdated by now, but thought it'd still be fun to do. People on Twitter were talking about 4 single shots from a horror movie that still haunt them to this day. And so we thought it'd be fun to share with you guys 4 shots from horror movies that stick with us to this day and tell you why.
Yep, let's get into some spookies. So the first shot that I'm picking is from the movie Get Out. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe you guys at home have seen it. It's a very creepy movie, especially if you are black. And the reason I picked this shot, I was trying to. All right, well, we just had a little cut there. Emmanuel just called me the N-word.
No, that's not true at all.
Damn it, we haven't even
Please clarify. That's not what
happened. It's not going in the video. No, it is definitely a political commentary, that film, on being black in America. And I think that this shot, really shows that and shows how it can be scary.
It's not just being black in America. It's being black around white people.
Exactly, yeah. And when I first saw this movie, there's a lot of scary things. This is not the scariest thing, but this is one of the shots that definitely stuck with me. Once all of the white people start looking up and stop talking, I was like, get out.
That is eerie.
And that's funny because that was the shot that made me realize why that movie was called Get Out. Daniel Kaluuya's character comes in the house. He's already uncomfortable being around this huge white family that's just a little off. He goes upstairs and that wide of the whole party just bustling, and then as soon as he gets to the top step, they just stop and look up. Whew.
It's funny that you pointed out that shot hit you for the political reasons. Mm-hmm. Because obviously I knew it was a political commentary. That's very clear. But when I saw that shot in the theater, I remember just thinking, that's really creepy.
Right,
I remember thinking, oh, that's eerie. But I didn't really get that out of that single shot until you pointed it out to me, which obviously you would resonate more with.
Exactly, because when you have an afro, you just things like that tend to stick out more. It's unsettling for several different reasons all at once, and I love stuff like that. It's a little creepy, and if you ever find yourself, at a party with a bunch of white people and they stop talking when you're not in the room, get out.
Get out. Honestly, if white people are talking while you are in the room, get out.
True.
If you're around white people, get out.
All right, so on to your first pick.
So my first pick is from the movie Hereditary. Very different. It's a very different kind of horror movie. It's weird, but not really.
It's different, but the same. It's
that's because
it's like that phrase: "The more things change, the more they also stay the same." This is the epitome of that.
Yeah, because this movie does do a lot of things differently. I feel like in the performances and the way that the scares are constructed are very different. But at the same time, it's basically just Rosemary's Baby. Mm-hmm. But so in a weird way, this movie's both perfectly classic and also very fresh.
Yeah.
There's one shot in particular in Hereditary that sticks with me for many reasons. In the movie, Peter takes his little sister Charlie to a party where she eats a cake that has nuts in it. She has a severe nut allergy. She has an allergic reaction, and he has to rush her to a hospital. He's freaking out. I think he's also high. So it's a bad situation all around. And she sticks her head out of the window because she feels like she can't breathe and she needs to get some air. And long story short, she gets decapitated by a telephone pole. it's such a shocking moment, and I feel like it's played very well in the performance that like he just goes into complete shock. Like he's not wailing. He doesn't get out of the car and go to his sister's body like, oh, what have I done? And so many other movies. That's not even the shot I'm talking about. All of that is to set up the fact that Peter drives home with the headless body of his little sister in the back seat. He parks the car, he goes inside, and he lays in bed. And the next shot is Peter laying with his head on the pillow, clearly not asleep because he's been up all night, just in complete shock. And the camera stays on him while in the background you hear the audio of his mother finding Charlie's body and her reaction. But the camera's focused on him and how he's processing it. And it is chilling.
Yeah, this is
absolutely
such a creepy moment.
Chilling. And it's like so different from any other scare in any other horror movie. So many horror movies are like, there's a demon in the house.
Yeah.
And this is like, it's just a family tragedy, and finding the horror in that for a horror movie that's so existential of, especially, and I think the reason this sat with me so hard too is because I have a little sister.
Yeah.
And I could only imagine being a teenage boy who accidentally decapitated her. And then your parents find her body in the car, and you're just laying there having to hear it all.
Yeah.
Oh, it's tragic. It's creepy. It's horrifying. It made my stomach turn.
It's haunting. I guess
very haunting.
Scary is not the word.
It's haunting.
Haunting.
Ugh.
Should we move on to shot number 3?
Let's do it.
All right. So shot number 3. This is the second shot that I picked. So again, we were just kind of talking about this. Like, I was trying to think of things that are just like unsettling or haunting. I picked a shot from Psycho. Thought of that movie. There's a lot of good shots in there, but I was like, there's a lot of shots that people talk about in that movie. But there's one in particular that I don't hear everybody talk about. And this one was, when I first watched the movie, this is one that I think back to, like watching that movie for the first time, that just unsettled me, and I'm not even sure why. Psycho is one of those movies like Hereditary. It's almost like the protagonist like switches. You switch viewpoints of the main character. And this shot happens at the point in the movie where you're so jarred from that, and now you realize you're watching the rest of this movie from Norman Bates' perspective. So the shot I'm talking about is when the detective shows up to the hotel and starts looking through the
they're signing?
Yeah, the logbook for the hotel, like all the guests that have checked in. And Norman Bates, the shot I'm talking about, Norman Bates like kind of starts peering over the shoulder of the detective, and he's trying to play it cool like he doesn't know anything, but he's peering over the shoulder, and they've got just this weird contorted angle from up under his chin, and he's like eating seeds too, and it's just really creepy.
Oh yes, here we are. Marie Samuels. That's an interesting address.
Is that her?
Yeah, I think so. Marie, Marion Samuels. Your boyfriend's name is Sam.
And the reason that, like, as I'm thinking about it, one of the things that's unsettling is this is a moment where you know that he's the killer by now.
I think so at this point in the movie. Yeah.
Or you know that he's...
something's up.
You definitely know that he's hiding the fact that this girl who everybody knows is dead, he's hiding that. You, like, get unsettled that this detective might find out the answers. It's like, why are you unsettled that the truth might come out? It's almost like this weird thing is like, wait a minute. You start questioning, like, wait a minute, whose side am I on? That is just like, that's more of an existential thing. It's like, are you rooting for a murderer during this movie? Or...
Yeah, and it's weird because, like, what I really like about Psycho is the fact that Norman Bates is kind of a likable character.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You don't want the detective to find out that he's a murderer, but that's actually just kind of f***ed up on you.
Yeah. and then just in terms of just like a composition point of view, it's just a creepy angle.
Yeah,
just to see somebody from like and chewing his seeds. And,
Yeah,
seeing
exactly.
His jaw move and see
A lot
his
of
damn nose hairs.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, like, it's really cool. Like, a lot of rules are being broken there. Like, just, you don't really typically shoot somebody from their neck.
Yeah, that's an ugly angle.
It's just ugly, but it all works. It all works and
yeah.
services the story. All right, let's go on to the last shot. This is your shot.
Yes, so I'm going to pick another more contemporary one. This is from one of my favorite horror movies. This one's kind of hit or miss. I hear not mixed reviews about it, but it's almost like love it or hate it.
I will say, when I think of that movie, it is a scary movie to me. I remember being scared watching it, but I can definitely understand, like, when people, like, don't think of it as, like, the scariest movie they've ever seen, because there's definitely some stuff that's very haunted house-esque throughout the film.
But what I like about it, also, we're talking about Insidious, by the way. I don't think we've said that. Which I can also see why people don't, get into it, because it's like, oh, horror is more scary when it's ambiguous, and Insidious almost feeds you too much, especially in the second half. True. So that's all fair. But it's got some legitimately creepy moments and some pretty solidly crafted scares in it. I'm not going to be talking about the scare that everybody knows. The scare. The one where the dude who looks like Darth Maul, his face pops up, and it got me too. It got everybody crazy. It was a great jump scare. That's actually not the shot I'm going to talk about. The shot I'm going to talk about is actually a shot leading up to that shot, which I find to be infinitely creepier and infinitely more haunting. That's just so understated, but so creepy, and it has everything to do with the sound design. I hate that. So that reveal, when you see the visitor standing in the corner of the room, the way that the camera just and it's such a simple thing, but it's just so well done. The way that the camera goes from left to right, goes past the door frame, peeks into Dalton's room, and just as it gets past the door frame, you see the visitor, just a tall, slender, shadowy figure standing in the corner.
Don't like that.
You know what it makes me feel like? It makes me feel like when you're a kid and you're in your basement and you shut the lights off and you run up the stairs real quick because you think there's a shadow man behind you.
That's the dude who's coming to get you.
That's the dude who's coming to get you right there.
You keep saying, like, when you were a kid or childhood. If you turn off the lights and don't bust the burners off.
And the music cue, those high squealing strings, those violins that are just that's the one thing I think Insidious absolutely nails.
And people talk about the strings in Insidious. I don't know what they did, because that's definitely like
I don't even know what that
other
sound
horror
is.
movies. It's strings, but like I don't know what they did differently.
It's a different sound, man. I think Insidious just has a particular thing with their score that every time I hear those, it just makes my skin crawl.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, we are in the midst of a huge week for us here on YouTube. We have new uploads every day this week, all leading up to Broke Boy Media's first short film, directed by EMMANUEL ROLDAN,
Mr. Pumpy,
on Friday. Make sure you like and subscribe and have the notifications on so you don't miss the short film.
Don't miss the film. We put a lot of work into it. Yes, I directed it, but I told Josh the morning of that we were shooting a film, and he dropped everything to do it. And my girlfriend starred in it, and everybody just came together on one day to make this thing happen. And I couldn't be more proud of it. The whole thing was shot and edited in under 2 days. It was 48 hours.
Put together in pure broke boy fashion.
It has no business being as good as it is.
As most of our stuff does.
So make sure to catch that. We're really proud of it. I'm really excited to show you guys. And we'll see you then.